Hey, just a quick medical. RJ is was cleared this morning with by the medical people. So he obviously, if there's no setbacks between now and game time, he's a go. So we practice. We're going to practice a little bit later in the afternoon today, and that'll be our live. That'll be our only practice for the day here. So there you go. There's the medical.
Any questions? Gavin?
Hey, Dan. How do you think your team's gonna react tomorrow? I mean, the first NCAA game and everything, and everything that goes, all the emotion that goes along with it.
Yeah, I don't think what we have. We got. I have no idea. I know these guys are excited to play. We know it's going to be, a really, really tough game, really, really physical game. But you don't know. I mean, we don't have a guy in the program that's ever played in an NCAA game. We don't have a guy in the program that's played in an NIT game or a CBI or a CIT. So, I mean, you don't know. I was in a similar position at Rhode Island in a program that hadn't been there in an even longer period of time, and our guys, they handled the moment, beautifully against Creighton, and then obviously, the next year in the first round versus Oklahoma. But it's a player's time of year, and you gotta rise and shine.
Dave?
When RJ earlier this year, when he was a little up and down, and people were kind of wondering still wondering who was kind of going to be the number 2 scorer behind James. What gave you the confidence that ultimately that would end up being RJ and kind of be the sort of number 2 option behind James this year?
He had a history, as a player. I think his his performance in against the high majors when he was at Howard. I think we watched kind of those high major games, a little bit closer than we watched some of his conference games. We felt like that he was a good offensive player, and then eventually it would show. Just like the freshmen, I think Tyrese, RJ, anyone that's new to like that was new to playing this season, not just with us, but across the country. You didn't get the normal summer. You didn't get the normal preseason. You throw in a couple of pauses. And it takes a little time to get comfortable, get your rhythm, especially after missing a year like he did.
Any other questions? Raise your hands, please.
That's it.
Wayne, go ahead.
Yeah, with them playing a lot of 5-out, is it harder to run against them because their guys are already a third or a quarter of the way back down the court?
Yeah, I mean, Mark, they put a lot of value in transition defense, and Morcell does, I think, a great job on the offensive glass, but for the most part, their focus is transition defense. We would obviously love to get out of transition and get opportunities. Sometimes your opponent doesn't cooperate. It's easy to talk about you got to get out and run more, but it's oftentimes against really good teams. It's hard to do that because most really good teams are great at transition defense. So, the backboard is going to be huge in this game. It's the reason why we didn't play for a championship in New York last week. If we don't dominate the glass, that's going to be a major problem for us because we're going to be scrambling a lot on defense between sticking to our principles that we've used that have made us a real good defensive team and needing to adjust to the fact that our opponent is playing without a true post player, with the exception of Galen Smith, who plays backup minutes.
Neil?
Dan, did something click with Adama about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago? I mean, he's played reasonably well all year, but he seems to have taken it up a notch. Was there any sign or anything in specific that sort of got him really going?
Just think, the more games under his belt, and things have slowed down for him a little bit. But I just think it's just, games played. I mean, you just, the more teams, the more games a team gets, the more games you get under your belt, just the more comfortable, the more experienced you are, and just the more confident, more comfortable. A lot of stuff that you see, or you guys have seen, or fans have seen, we see it every day in practice, and then some. There's more in his bag that people haven't seen yet. So,
Tom?
Yeah, Dan, can you just kind of reflect on the moment and the accomplishment of getting UConn back in the tournament after 5 years? I mean, UConn was a fixture in the tournament every year, and then they were gone for a while. Can you kind of just reflect on the magnitude of this accomplishment being here?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly gratifying. It's like this year 3. It's like I'm looking at the notes section of my phone on the flight out from September 1st, and it was like finished top 3 or 4 of the Big East. Doing like my preseason goals, like it was like top 3 to 4 finish in the Big East. I mean, I'm not like saying this, hindsight. I'll screenshot it to you guys, but it's like top 3 or 4 Big East. Make the NCAA tournament as an at-large, and then I wrote, and then reassess. And then reassess based on what you think you may be able to do. And then I think the third thing I wrote was just show that show a lot of growth from year 2 to year 3. So we took a big step. It's hard when you're the coach at UConn with everything that Gino's done, and Coach Calhoun and Kevin and all the national championships to bow your chest out about just getting back in. But when you look at where it was a couple of years ago, just what we were putting on the floor in terms of quality and being in the American, and now being back in the Big East and being a tournament team again, and having again a potential high draft pick and top 10 class coming in. It's hard not to sit in this bubble and just not feel really good about where you're at.
Okay, a quick 2 more, Bill Paxton.
Hey, Dan, obviously you have a couple guys in your coaching staff that have played in huge games with UConn. With Talik and Kevin, how valuable have they been this week, just trying to prepare the guys for what they're going to see?
Yeah, you must have the room bugged. I keep asking, what's that?
I don't want to pass off, so we'll go back to the car.
RJ, hit mute. You're brutal. Probably talking to Pops. Probably talking to Rob. Yeah, I keep asking Talik and Kevin and Tom Moore how to win a national championship, and they haven't told me anything yet that I could use tangibly. So yeah, there's not. I think Talik started. Talik said Hall of Fame coach and like 6 first-round picks. I think Talik muttered. Kevin has yet to respond.
Last one, Mike Crispino.
Hey, Dan, how does this 7-8 day break between games compare to what you had during the season? You had a few of these pauses. Some of them were 7, some were 10, 12, 15 days, whatever it was. How does this break compare to that? And is it something that's not easier to deal with? But, how does that lay out for you?
Hey, listen, some teams are not going to handle this situation well. This is a lot different. This is day 10 for us on this, on a road trip. We get into the Big East tournament last Tuesday, and now we're 10 days in. So, and again, you're in a very confined environment here, and you know it's a different situation. I would say the layoff in terms of games doesn't worry you as a coach as much as you know the time that we've been kind of on the road, and then you know I'd say just the environment here. But I don't think that's not. I mean, that's not really a concern. Like these players and these programs and these teams have dealt with, you know, a lot this year relative to COVID and the season. It's been a lot, and so I think all of these teams are battle tested. But you know, when you've been on the road for 10 or 12 days. And you're kind of in this bubble thing, I think, you know, it's going to, you know, you're going to have to be mentally tough, right? You have to be mentally tough and really dialed in. And I think that we are, and I know Maryland will be.